The space race is surging back to the forefront of global priorities, but this time, it's not just about national pride. In recent years, both national space agencies and private companies have reignited their commitment to space exploration, and many are setting ambitious goals for reaching new frontiers. Beyond the well-trodden path to Earth's orbit and the Moon, the next grand challenge on the horizon is Mars. A handful of organizations, including NASA, SpaceX, and other international players, are actively developing missions to set foot on the red planet. However, reaching Mars presents challenges that are exponentially greater than previous space explorations. One of the most pressing issues for these planned missions to Mars, which would take several years to complete, is figuring out how to sustain astronauts for extended periods. Unlike the shorter journeys to the Moon or brief orbital stays, a Mars mission requires new, innovative solutions for food. In the 1960s and 70s, astronauts relied on basic freeze-dried foods, a menu that served them well enough but wasn't exactly appetizing or nutritionally varied. Those early missions lasted only a few days or weeks, making the limited food options tolerable. However, feeding astronauts for months or even years is a whole new ballgame, especially if we want to support their health and morale over long periods. To address this problem, a new generation of space culinary experts, engineers, and scientists are devising groundbreaking ways to provide astronauts with varied, nutritious, and even delicious meals in space. Here are 10 fascinating concepts under development that could revolutionize space food. The RC Center of Excellence in Plants for Space, located in Australia, is testing innovative ways to cultivate fresh, nutritious food in space. Rather than relying solely on the traditional freeze-dried options, they're exploring how to create a sustainable food supply that offers variety and better nutrition. One of the most promising tools they've developed is the Farmbot. These are robots programmed to perform tasks akin to those of farmers on Earth, such as planting, irrigating, and harvesting crops. These Farmbots are equipped with advanced digital sensors and artificial intelligence, allowing them to monitor plant health and growth closely. A unique feature of these bots is their use of an e-nose technology, which essentially smells chemical cues released by the plants to assess their condition. This helps the robots determine when plants might need more water or nutrients, or if they're facing any health issues. The project team even aims to integrate facial recognition technology to analyze astronauts' reactions to different foods, potentially offering insights into how microgravity affects taste and preference. Although still in development, these robots could be a game changer for long-term space missions, providing astronauts with a reliable and varied food source that doesn't require extensive human labor. As space agencies increasingly prioritize longer missions, the prospect of Farmbots joining astronauts in space could soon become a reality. Another concept emerging from Australia's ARC Centre of Excellence in Plants for Space is inspired by none other than Willy Wonka's multi-flavoured chewing gum. This team is working on a way to 3D print pills that release multiple flavours over time, mimicking the experience of eating a multi-course meal in a single bite. In Roald Dahl's story, Wonka's gum provides the flavours of soup, roast beef, and blueberry pie, one after the other. Similarly, the researchers envision a pill that would deliver several distinct flavors sequentially, creating a dynamic taste experience. These pills are still in the experimental phase, but they hold promise as a lightweight, compact solution for providing essential nutrients and a satisfying taste experience. So far, they haven't produced any side effects like turning people into giant blueberries, yet another nod to Wonka's famous creation. One of the most ambitious ideas under development is turning plastic waste into edible food using a three-dimensional printing process. In space, where resources are limited, recycling waste into something useful is essential. Engineer Anja Contractor from BHEX has proposed a method where astronauts would collect plastic waste, shred it, and feed it into a bioreactor. In this reactor, specially engineered bacteria would consume the plastic and transform it into biomass, which could then be processed into food items. The process, funded by NASA and the US Army, could allow astronauts to print steak or chicken breast substitutes from the resulting biomass. Demonstrations of this technology have been successful on Earth, with prototypes showing that it's possible to transform waste materials into edible products. While it might not sound appealing to some, this approach could significantly reduce waste and provide a sustainable food source for long-haul space missions. NASA's Vegetable Production System, also known as Veggie, is a project that allows astronauts on the International Space Station to grow small amounts of fresh produce. While the system currently only grows enough plants to supplement astronauts' diets, it provides valuable insights into gardening in microgravity. Using pillows filled with fertilizer and clay, along with LED lighting to replace sunlight, astronauts have successfully grown crops like lettuce, mustard, kale, and Chinese cabbage. The team hopes to expand to other crops like tomatoes and peppers, which would add even more variety to astronauts' diets. Some plants, like berries, are also rich in antioxidants that could help counteract the effects of radiation exposure in space, making fresh produce even more valuable. The concept of vertical farming, which involves growing plants in stacked layers, was first proposed by Dr. Dickson Despomier of Columbia University in the late 1990s. Vertical farms make efficient use of space, water, and resources, all of which are limited on a space mission. By carefully controlling the growing environment on each floor, astronauts could cultivate a variety of crops within a small footprint. Vertical farming has the potential to produce yields equivalent to traditional farms, but in a fraction of the space, making it ideal for space missions. Interestingly, these techniques have applications on Earth as well, where vertical farms can offer sustainable solutions for densely populated urban areas. In 2022, researchers at the University of Florida made a breakthrough by successfully growing plants in lunar soil. Using samples collected during the Apollo missions, they planted thalicress seeds, which germinated and grew, albeit more slowly and with signs of stress. This experiment suggests that lunar soil could support agriculture, which could be crucial for establishing long-term bases on the Moon or even Mars. While the plants grown in lunar soil were smaller and faced more challenges than those grown in Earth soil, the results are promising. This discovery represents a significant step forward in our ability to conduct sustainable space agriculture, as it shows that plants can adapt to extraterrestrial environments, even if they require additional support. In 2021, NASA and the Canadian Space Agency launched the Deep Space Food Challenge, inviting innovative food scientists to devise new ways to feed astronauts on extended missions. Among the finalists was a team from Kernel Deltec, which developed a method for cultivating fungi-based meat alternatives in space. Using a bioreactor, the team grows Fusarium venenatum, a type of fungus used to produce the meat substitute known as corn. In space, this fungus could be transformed into protein-rich snacks like fried cheese or burger bites, providing astronauts with a nutritious and sustainable food source. This approach could not only improve food variety, but also minimize the need for livestock farming, which is resource-intensive. Another innovative participant in the Deep Space Food Challenge, Finnish company Solar Foods, has developed a protein powder called solein. Unlike other food sources, solein is created by growing bacteria that consume hydrogen gas. Hydrogen, a byproduct of oxygen extraction systems on spacecraft, is usually discarded. However, Solar Foods has found a way to turn this waste product into a valuable food source. Solein can be transformed into a variety of foods, offering astronauts flexibility and nutrition without requiring large storage space. Recently, Solar Foods showcased their process by creating solein-based fortune cookies, demonstrating the potential for diverse and enjoyable meals. Nolux, a project aiming to grow food without sunlight, has developed a way to cultivate mushrooms in space using liquid hydrocarbon acetate. This acetate can be produced on space missions by converting carbon dioxide and water. Originally, researchers intended this process for biofuel production, but they found that it could also be adapted for mushroom cultivation. This technique could provide astronauts with a reliable source of fresh mushrooms, which are high in protein and essential nutrients. With minimal equipment, Nolux could produce nearly 20 pounds of food daily, making it a viable option for long-term space travel. Israeli company Aleph Farms made history in 2019 when they grew artificial beef in space. By combining cow cells with a nutrient broth, they successfully printed meat on the International Space Station. While the initial results were small and not particularly tasty, this achievement demonstrated the potential for producing meat in microgravity. This technology could provide astronauts with a much-needed protein source on long missions, reducing reliance on traditional farming methods. Additionally, cultured meat uses significantly less land and water, suggesting that it could play a role in addressing resource shortages on Earth. the future of space travel is becoming more viable, thanks in part to creative food solutions that aim to nourish astronauts on extended missions. From Farmbots and 3D printed pills to vertical farming and lab-grown meat, scientists are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in space. These advancements not only promise to make life in space more sustainable, but also offer innovations that could transform agriculture and food production on Earth. As the space race heats up, the quest for sustainable food in space might yield solutions that benefit both astronauts and people back home. By the way, if there's any topic in this video that catches your eye, just comment down below and let me know if you want me to make a separate video on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Wow, you guys have made it till the end of the video. And remember, according to YouTube, the best way to help the channel in the algorithm is to watch another one of my videos right after this one. So go ahead and check it out. Thanks for sticking around. See you soon. Until then, peace.